Hello everyone, it's Hope coming to you from my backyard. Thought it was time to give you another update. It's been a little over a week since we were here last time, so I'm going to give you a quick tour of what's been going on since we talked last. Now I'm going to take you out the side yard here because I'm pretty excited that I finally have some shoots going on my blackberries. So over here you can see these little buds starting to come out on my blackberries. There's quite a few. Pretty excited about that. They're growing over here by my cable box, which I'm sure Comcast loves me for that. I didn't actually plant them there. I planted them over there, but that's how blackberries are. They come up all over the place. These are kind of just brambly and dry, but I'm starting to see a few buds come out. What I'll do is I'll let it all start to grow, and then I'll cut back the ones that apparently are dead and not growing once I can tell what's growing and what's not growing. As we step into the flower and herb garden, it's kind of shady over here, but I've got strawberries growing. The mint is doing great too, by the way. It's still a little sparse, but it'll fill in. And then I've got, this is all mint out here. That's not really supposed to be out that far, but mint does that. Hostas are way bigger than they were last week. Really coming along. Again, I might separate a few of those and see if I can plant them somewhere else, but I have to Google when I'm supposed to be able to do that. I don't want to pull them up when I'm not supposed to. So these are all my strawberries. Some of them are in the shade, so they're kind of hard to see. They are at the base of my blueberries, and the blueberries just started to bud. Here, can you see these? Oh, so cute. Okay, and then I've got strawberry blooms here, down in through here. So that's kind of fun. I'll get some strawberries pretty early. Got some wildflowers coming up. And then the dill is getting much bigger. We looked at that last week. My clematis finally decided that it was going to grow. So it's way down here on the ground, but it's doing its thing. Back here in the corner underneath my lilac bush, I have some little bok choy and lettuce coming up. You can see these little buds here. I'm going to show you some more of those, but the reason I know they're the bok choy and the lettuce is the shape of the leaf, that little heart shape. All right, so we're heading into the main part of the yard, over to the vegetable garden. On the way, we'll stop and look at this little guy. I don't know if you can see him very well, but I just finally got my gooseberry in the ground, and I just actually dug a little hole in my decorative rock. Actually, it was a big hole. Filled it up with the good stuff, including just a little bit of starter fertilizer, and popped him in there. Hopefully he'll do well there. I just didn't really have any place else to put him. Not much has changed here in the big garden beds, although, well, I mean, it doesn't look like anything's changed because there's not much growing, but I can tell you that I've done a ton of work back here. I had them covered for a few days, and it was just getting really too hot under them. It's just really warm this year. These, I think I mentioned in my last video, these up here in the front here, and then back here, these are carrot tops, and I've just kind of let them grow. They came up volunteer from last year. I must have missed a carrot or two. Now the carrots are going to be all wobbly and soft and kind of icky, but the tops are fantastic to put in smoothies or to use in salads or stews. So you can use them just like parsley. They're kind of fun. I've got zucchini planted here. It's not up yet, and I've got a zucchini here that is up. So I'm hoping he hangs on and does well. The rest of it has carrots planted kind of throughout around where other things are going as companion plants. And then here I'm going to have some tomatoes. They're still getting bigger. They're not ready to come out yet. This box is fully planted with beans, radishes. I'm going to have peppers going in here. And you can see these plants coming up in here. These are things I did not plant. So if we get a little closer, sorry, my shadow's a little funky here. These little guys, little clusters of plants, these are coming up from my compost, and these are tomatoes. Now this happens every year, and it turns out that these little volunteer tomatoes that just come up on their own tend to be a little bit stronger than the ones I intentionally plant. So I'm gonna let them go and see if I get any really good ones, and maybe I'll transplant them. I'm gonna do a video on my compost probably in a week or two. I'm getting a lot of questions about how I do my compost. So yeah, I have all kinds of things come up from when I did my compost. So yes, this box is all planted too. And you can see I've got cucumbers here on the side. I'm hoping they make it. This one's a little straggly looking, but he's still upright. So I'm hoping he makes it. And just this morning, this guy popped out. That is my very first pea shoot. So that's really exciting. This box over here, we've got more cucumber. We've got beets, okra, bush beans, and the cantaloupe that I have growing. I haven't planted in yet, but it's going to go here in these two little mounds here. And then heading over to where we were last time with these lettuce like bumps that were here. Now they've really grown a lot in the last week, and they're filling in, and you can see that they're definitely lettuce. And I also have my red kale coming up. See these little guys? They're shaped like those little heart shapes. There's the green kale here, and then the red kale, more green kale, more lettuce. Okay, so those are coming up. The Swiss chard and collard greens, those are starting to come up too. Just a little bit. And then I didn't show you this box last time. I had a really large sage plant here, so big in fact that it'd been here like 4 years. It was seeding over to the sides, both sides. So now I have sage down here, sage over here, a little bit of thyme up there. So I pulled out the big old sage bushes. I left this one. As you can see, it's got some new growth on it, so I left that one. But I went ahead and refilled the box, and I planted some bush beans in here since I already have the sage growing down on the sides. So that's kind of where we are with the yard and the garden. And again, it doesn't look like much has changed, but I've been out here probably an average of about 2 or 3 hours a day. Some days it's 5 or 6 hours, some days it's just 2 or 3. It's a crazy time of year because it's the time where I need to be planting and transplanting and really taking care of all my new plants, but at the same time the grass is growing like crazy and the weeds are coming up everywhere. So I'm a little bit behind on the regular maintenance of the grass and the weeds and stuff. So now that most things are planted, I can get back to maintaining it. And yeah, so I'll do another video as more things start growing, and I'm going to be doing one soon on how to start your own compost. I hope you guys are enjoying your week, and I'll be checking back soon.